Namaste everyone.
Namaskara, Prabhu. Namaskara.
Namaskara. Hope you can see the screen. Let's all sit comfortably, back spine straight, roll your shoulders, collapse the shoulders there. Feel your spine, observe if there is any tension. Consciously release and relax. Bring your awareness to your facial muscles. Relax your jawline by bringing a beautiful smile to your face. Relax your forehead and gently bring your awareness to your nostrils. Feel the breath moving in and out for some time. As you become aware of the breath, you are tuning into yourself. Feel the in-breath and gentle out-breath. With every exhalation, let's chant Om 3 times. Join your palms, Namaskara Mudra. Breathe in slowly. Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratah chartheshvabhijñam swarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. हरि ओम्.
Hari Om. So meanwhile, when I share the screen, one of you please do the summary of the last class.
Hari Om. Yeah, we were looking at Hiranyaksha, right? Yes. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, how they were born to Diti, we saw that in the earlier Katha. And then we came here where now Bhagavan has taken the avatara of Varaha to rescue Bhumi Devi, right? Who has gone to the nether worlds, and Devas are looking for Bhumi Devi. So Bhagavan, it is Swayambhuva Manu when he was created by Brahma. So Brahmaji creates Swayambhu one half from his sthula, from the gross body. Manu comes and the other half Shatarupa comes, right? And then Brahmaji says, go now and procreate. So Manu is now asking, where do I go? I can't find Bhumi Devi. So that is when Bhumi Devi is actually somewhere. She has to be rescued. It is all because of that Hiranyaksha, who has created so much of havoc in all the three worlds, in whose control all the devas are also suffering. So Narayana takes the avatar of the boar, comes first, rescues Bhumi Devi, and now we saw how Hiranyaksha and Narayana are now in the form of boar, are now facing each other. This is the place where I think we stopped last week. He has been waiting. Hiranyaksha has been waiting because Narada Maharishi had told him that, only Narayana is more powerful than you. He can give you a good battle, something like that. So now the arrogance of Hiranyaksha, when we have something, sometimes we also see, right? When I'm good at something, I don't want to, I want a company of who matches. I have my own arrogance of that. I know that. So I need a company who matches that level. I have my own definition, right? Like that Hiranyaksha is there. He wants to fight with someone who he thinks is powerful enough. So that is how with all his, he's been waiting for Narayana. So now he sees Narayana in the form of boar.
And he talks about all these nice dialogue. You have managed to cheat us all these years. You kill us with the help of your Maya. Never once have you fought a straightforward battle with any of us. It is for this purpose that the Devas, our dear enemies, call you the Lord of Lords and make much of you. Not anymore. Those days have gone and I am here, and that means that the days of your glory have come to an end. I have found you and I will not let you go without fighting with me. I'll today dispatch you to the abode of death and rid the asuras of the one and only thorn in their path. So here I was just reading a book of Shankaranarayananji here where he talks very beautifully about asuras and devas. He said that you would find that the asuras have very almost the equal potential as the devas. Or maybe some of them are really very, very good. But what is the difference? That is, their path is not towards the divine. Their path is more this side of the pendulum, and the devas are more this side of the pendulum, more towards the divine. Otherwise, the greatness of asuric, the potential is really good. That fiery fire within them is outstanding because it is already very much ignited. But that fiery fire is not the spiritual fire. It is more towards the lower tendencies. And here the devas are always believing in the power of Shakti, the power of Narayana. So whoever they feel is the universal, the supreme Godhead, is they rely upon, and they feel that my intelligence, everything is because of that Shakti only. And here asuras think my intelligence is all because of me. It's I. So that is the difference, where there is always, and very beautifully he had written that only, and we have talked about it also so nicely, that only when there is a evil we know the beauty of the good. We know that how the goodness is more important. If we have only goodness in the world, how will we know? We will not take it. We will take everything for granted. So there is a fine, subtle balance of the good and the evil, and there is always, you would find in all the stories, every story in Puranas and Itihasas, where the Deva or the Devi comes and destroys the Asuric tendencies, and the goodness of the Daivi Sampat reigns, or takes over the throne, like that. Aarti wants to say something?
I was also thinking, as Prabha was talking, when this was being read, Now Hiranyaksha is very excited that he's going to fight with Mahavishnu. If you look at it at the base level, at the root level, he is very excited to meet Lord Vishnu, actually. But because he has the asuric qualities right now, which is more caught with the ego, he is thinking, oh, I am going to meet Vishnu because he is my equal and I can fight with him and I can show my prowess. Because you have always been hiding and fighting, now you fight in front of me. So what happens is that they have that bhakti, that vasana is there within them. Of that bhakti between Jaya and Vijaya. And they have that vasana, they recognize Lord Mahavishnu, and he is so excited. But because of his asuric quality that he has right now, that has become deflected and it is becoming more about his ego, rather than recognizing the fact that it is a divinity he is really attracted towards. So that just came to me. Because as Jaya Vijaya, if they are excited, it is excitement to see the Lord, in fact.
It is so beautiful. Even in our, say, modern world, if you see, there are so many scientific inventions, right, which are done. In fact, yesterday, some YouTube video, something my daughter was seeing, where she was showing where a virtual world is created. It is like, it was like the way our creation happens. It was like that virtual game, whatever she was showing. It is like you just stand and there is something in front which is not seen by others. Okay, you enter that game and there is an avatar for everybody. Okay, and through avatars only we play the game. So it is literally, it cheats that we enter into another virtual world. Okay, so this, and it is possible that if we could go for a long time, we forget our true identity, get into that. Okay, so like that, all of us are in this. So, but if you look at that intelligence which has created, it is so similar to how we see how the thoughts create the words and then the actions. It is so similar. The intelligence that creates this kind of games also, if you see, is again that same power which is playing, but it is turned outward. Okay, if only that power had turned inwards, then that deva quality will be there. But sometimes what happens is, many times I think in this modern world, the same intelligence, when it is so turned outward, which means doing it for egocentric, like Hiranyaksha, thinking I'm Hiranyaksha. The only thing is that power is something which is there. It is Bhagwan's power, but the thing is he has forgotten the true identity and he is completely feeding his ego. And the same power is being used at the deflected, is what you said. It is completely deflected outside. So all our inventions, everything is so beautiful. If we see, it is so much, it is actually the glory of Bhagwan, which is just seen. But the thing is, it is so deflected outside that whoever is going through that, we forget Bhagwan and we think it is me who is doing it. I think coming back to our doership here. So I don't know if that made sense.
Yes, the doership always, I think that's where always the ego sense comes in also, right? And you would find all these asuras when they have their dialogues, it will be everything is all about me, I, me. There is always the I-ness there, and I have done this. Don't you know me? You give me. I want you. Everywhere it is. Don't you know you can fight with me? So there's always an I-ness there. Shall we continue? Okay. Ignoring the words of Hiranyaksha, the Lord tried to rise out of ocean, but Hiranya pursued him and said, "You are shameless. That is why you are trying to run away from me and my valor. I have been looking for you since ever so long. I will not let you go easily. Do not run away from me. I want that fight which my arms have been itching forever since I heard about you." Varaha placed the earth on the surface of the sea and he established her firmly. He then turned towards Hiranyaksha and said, "It is because I am a beast that I am listening to your words. Only animals are obliged to listen to the barkings of a dog. Really, brave men do not and are not obliged to listen to your ravings. You are already caught in the clutches of death, or else you will not talk like this to those more powerful than you. As you mentioned earlier, I am a thief who was trying to steal the earth from this Rasatala, from where when no one was looking. But you have found me out. You say you have sworn to rid the path of the Asuras of the one thorn which is hurting their feet. I am ever compassionate, and I cannot bear to see the bleeding feet of your friends. Nor can I see a great hero like you break his promise. That is why I am staying, or else I would have run away long ago." Very beautiful. Anything coming across for both of you? Should I continue? I think it's very beautiful all the way how Bhagavan is talking. The sneer and contempt in the voice of the boar, a mere animal, made Hiranyaksha wild with rage. He raised his mace and rushed towards the Lord. He was hissing like a serpent. His head was reeling because of his extreme anger. He came near the Varaha, hit him hard with his gada. The Lord averted the blow by moving away from its path, like a yogi would the coming of Yama. He then raised his own gada and hit Hiranya on the brow. Hiranya moved away and hit back with his gada. They fought for a long while with their gadas, and it was a fight watched by every one with bated breath. Hiranya was no simple or mean warrior, and his opponent was the Lord himself. Brahma and the rishis had come to Rasatala to watch this magnificent fight. Shall I continue? This looks like a very dramatic, fantastic thing, right? If you do a nice drama here. With his mind, Brahma spoke to Narayana and said, "Lord, in a moment of weakness, flattered by their penances, I granted boons to this sinner and to his brother. They are bent on harassing all those who love you. The world is suffering because of them. He is very powerful. Please do not trifle with him any longer. Evening time is drawing near. I do not have to tell you that the Asuras become stronger as the night draws nearer. It is now the sacred hour by name Abhijit. Please rid the world of this sinner now." The Lord smiled as if to say, "I am time, and this son of mine teaches me about the purity of the Abhijit Muhurta and about the power of the Asuras increasing as though I may be vanquished." Shall I stop here? Yeah? Yes. It's like a child telling the mother, "Amma, if you go like that, no, Amma, what will happen? Don't you know that you have to do this?" So the Amma is smiling. You say, "Don't I know what will happen?" So it's like a very ever compassionate Bhagwan. They're thinking about Brahma itself, right? So,
And as you were reading this, no,
hmm.
I was imagining the Asura, one Asura within us, that battle. There are many things that come in, right? A huge Asura, maybe something, I don't know, some Hiranyaksha in my mind. Maybe somewhere some ego is hurt, and that Hiranyaksha has raised his hood. Okay. So, like Bhumi Devi, we can, when we surrender to Bhagavan, we just say, it doesn't go away immediately, right? This fight happens. The mind keeps talking again and again and again, and the ego wants to establish itself, right? But finally, Bhagavan superpowers. And it is so nicely said that in that fight, all the devas have come to witness the fight. So all the goodness also comes, that mind, when it talks, I think if we can imagine something that we have reflect and see something recently that maybe if you have gone through, when there is this some Hiranyaksha rising in our mind, and then I say, "Oh, this is coming up, oh Bhagavan, help." Put it at his feet. That has to be done. The moment that is done, we see Bhagavan coming in some avatara, okay, talking in another way, so that, to attack this. I was just visualizing that as Prabha was reading this. all the devas also come, all the to strengthen the Bhagwan. Everything is there, and then this fight keeps happening, and finally, of course, Bhagwan wins, and it is a painful fight also, just like how Hiranyaksha goes through. If it is too hard, then it will be a painful fight. If it is just small one, it will just go.
Yeah.
So all these,
Constant battle.
And in this talk about, the Abhijit Muhurta in the evening, the Asura becomes stronger. If you also see, it's after the evening always seem longer. Mornings are just rushing off. Even when Bala is talking about the Asuric qualities within us. If there are any Asuric qualities and we haven't settled it, evenings can seem very, 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 very long and dreary. Typically, or at least especially in countries where the evenings are very long and when the sun is not out, so the Asuric qualities can really come in, and the body is also weaker, I think, after activity throughout the day, the evening the body. So I was just relating to all of that when Bala was telling it is a fight within us. And also when you look at what it's a fight, right? And this whole narration is like that fight. Tejasvi wants to say something.
Just when you were talking about things in the evening, I recently heard from one of the mission Swamis that there are few things which are not supposed to do in the evening at all. Like few we know, we should not eat, we should not sleep, we should not have mithuna, and couple of more things I found out newly where we should not have any transactions also. Like with the world, it is supposed to be your japa and meditation time, and you are not supposed to do any studies also, and not even any transactions with the world outside. So you are telling, so I just remember that.
Yes, the evening Sandhya time, the twilight time, they say also, right? The twilight time is such a very, in a Ayurvedic thing also, they say that is not the time to go to sleep. Because if you would have observed, if you go actually to lie down, if you take rest at about 6 o'clock like that, you would actually get up with some severe heaviness in the head. So that is not the time to lie down. Actually, that is the time to engage ourselves. What is the kind of engagement we do at that time is very important, like you said. So which is kind of very, very keen, right? That is why at that time, twilight time, the habit of Sandhya Vandana, all these things were happening, right? Where the people actually sat and did japa, lighting the lamp, being in touch with the divine. So many wonderful things. The tradition was remaining there, right? So that's and I like the aspect of Bala talking about this battle, whether today where I am Hiranyaksha, tomorrow whether I am Hiranyakashipu, or next time I am Mahishasura, I don't know, we have no idea. So it's important, like what is the quality of Asuric tendency of Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyaksha who's wanting, it's like in a meeting, you have in a corporate meeting, for example, I remember some people saying, somebody could be Hiranyaksha itself also saying that I want to prove my point, I am greater than you. So somebody is wanting to prove. So there is something, I know, I am very good. Come, can we have a battle? So it's like, okay, come, let's. So we also find sometimes, I remember Raghuramji, where he keeps telling that how intellectuals also go into an intellectual fight. That also sometimes is an Asuric tendency. He used to keep telling that because we used to keep bombarding him with questions. How do 2-3 intellectuals come and then bombard you? What do you do, Raghuramji, and all that? And then he used to keep saying that that there is always a chance of the intellectuals being caught by Maya. They tend to get caught by Maya, because everyone, the moment a person becomes very intellectual, they know that they are intelligent, they are able to understand, decipher, comprehend, everything is very beautifully, they are blessed with that faculty, whatever you can say. And so what happens is, the more and more they study, more and more they read, they think that I know everything. So, and what happens, it becomes raga dvesha also. They start developing very strong likes and dislikes. Raghuramji used to keep telling that, because we used to ask him, how come you are not having such strong likes and dislikes? So he used to say, because I know that it is going to catch me and pull me down. So I keep trying to introspect whether I am having a strong like or a dislike. And he used to keep saying that is where the intellectual person also gets caught. This is where today when I was talking to my mother-in-law in Durga Saptashati also, Jnani Namapi Chetamsi Devi Bhagavati Hisa Baladakrisha Mohaya Mahamaya Prayachati. So she was telling me the meaning that even the jnanis, mostly the jnanis, get deluded by Maya. Even they are not spared. So jnani who deluded by Maya, oh Devi, I know that even the jnanis who get deluded by Maya, you are the only person who can lift me up. So that is the where the asuric tendencies really pull us down. It's like a heavy weight which pulls us down. Whether you're Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, or Chandamunda, whoever they are. So we are all into Devi Mahatmyam glory. So I am calling Mahishasura and everyone. But that is where very beautifully everywhere we see all the ego sense. The Hiranyaksha also, so much of the ego sense, I can fight. Who are you? So it's completely blinded with that rage. He was saying that his head was reeling because of his extreme anger. We know that when we are very angry, when we are in that mada, absolute, you would see an elephant which is in mada, which absolutely it does not even know what it is doing. It will just go and do a huge rampage for the entire village there. It will just because it will not have a sense of discrimination or nothing, because the anger has ruled over completely. It's that it is the overpowering dominating factor in it. So that comes and that's it. So when it comes, you are using the gada, the asuric tendencies comes, and the gada is wanting to hit and lash out at everyone. So that is the time again the Bhagavan is coming and giving you one hit with his gada through anywhere. And that is where we need to kind of, it is important for us to keep introspecting that, because anyone in this world can be pulled down by the asuric tendencies. Not even one person is not. So every story in the Puranas, you would find that there is somewhere they will be pulled down. Again, Bhagwan lifts them up. And those who are in touch with their divine self, those who are very connected, they actually take these as learnings and come up. And my mother-in-law was saying, you remember Vishwamitra, even such a great jnani, such a great Rajarishi was deluded by Maya, either with anger or with the kama aspect, with Menaka, or with the anger aspect. He was unable to. The moment he was able to kind of be connected with himself, and then he came to Vashishta's place and looked at his younger son with absolute love and compassion, that is the time he became a Brahma Rishi. So this is where everywhere we need to check our asuric tendencies, is what I also, every step is, and that is where again beautifully she told me to yesterday, is this Navanita concept. In Navanita concept is where we give prasada of butter to Bhagavan, no? So she was saying that every day that Navanita is actually, it's like our ego is getting shed. We are taking our ego and submitting to Bhagavan. At the end of the day, it's important, like a very beautiful tradition or a very beautiful way of doing is, go to Bhagavan's room or think of Bhagavan and say that I submit my ego also. So that Navanita concept is that. But most of the time we don't do on an everyday basis. So on Krishna Janmashtami, the entire big mountain of Navanita is submitted to Krishna. I completely give my ego, submit my ego, surrender my ego. Now you only take care, Pa, because I am really falling each and every time. So that is the beauty of Navanita, and I thought it's such a fantastic thing we can do every day. Those who are great in visualization, they can visualize the ego kind of coming like a very, she was saying how it is so soft. So the Navanita is like the butter is so soft, right? Because sometimes the ego can give us real comfort. That comfortness it gives, but the comfortness it also gives, but it also pulls us down. So that is where we take that ego and then submit. That's it. So I just loved this concept completely. So yes.
Very nice. This butter, because you brought in, there is one very beautiful, somewhere I heard, I don't remember. So see, it is like how we are made butter, like a butter. Okay, it's a little, not like ego here. Krishna is making us all butter. Okay, that is and then he will eat us up. Okay, so what is it? So how is butter made? The process of butter. We first take the milk, boil the milk. Okay, and then it comes up, and it is not, as long as, it is switched off. Okay, and then it is cooled down. After it is cooled down, it is made into curd. So after it is made into curd, and then we start churning it. Churn, 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 churn. After churning, what happens? That butter floats, and there is some buttermilk whey that is left. The final process is that butter, the floating butter, is again melted to ghee. Okay, and the ghee is, after that, there is no change. So it is the evolution of the Jivatma. In the state of milk, I am there, absolutely nothing. So the Bhagavan is there everywhere, but now we have to become that, right? So he is boiled. All the pain and sufferings of this world, okay, I'm heated up completely. All the agitations come in, these Arishad Varga, Kama, Krodha, everything. When the milk is boiling, all that comes in, right? So we go through that. So, and then he also gives us only as long as I can take. Okay, he switches off. The moment I start like coming up, no, he switches off. Okay, this one cannot take more. Done. And once it is off, then he's so compassionate. Here, that compassion very beautifully comes, right? He allows us to cool also. Like, okay, so much of pain she has gone through, let her cool. So that is a nice cooling phase. Okay, after that, now we are like, okay, everything done. Okay, but then suddenly something sore is put. Okay, again some pain where that curd is being put. Something very sore is being put, and we see that everything is now turning into that. We are breaking, the proteins are getting broken, and we are becoming that curd. So this is very beautifully equated to satsanga. Initially, when that satsanga, when we are exposed to satsanga, there is a lot of, hesitation, right? We might have seen that maybe in our lives, why to go? It is very boring. We might have slept, there might have been many such experiences. So that sore feeling is there. And then we see that it becomes part of us, and we start transforming. Yes, that amino acids are, what is it called? The protein, no, that is broken down, right? And then completely it becomes curd. So in that satsanga, we are also purified, okay, in that process. So, and now we think, okay, we are in that satsanga and in that bliss, and we think that's all it is. Now again, this is when we become very sensitive to everything, small, that Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, which is coming up, all the unwanted vasanas, everything. So he starts churning. Nice churning happens. When the churning happens, all the asuric qualities are gone, they are separated. And the Devi qualities, they come as butter. Very light, with absolute no ego, complete modesty, and it's all there. Now we are again thinking it's over. The last bit is still pending, where again we are heated up. Okay, the last lap, they say, right? Now it is, again, we see the bhaktas going through a lot of strife, struggles in life, pain, maybe it is that. So when they are heated up, then they become that true nature, ghee, when there is no more transformation, one with Bhagavan. So this was a nice analogy I heard.
Beautiful. The ghee was there in the milk right from the beginning, but it has to go all through all that journey to finally realize.
Yeah.
You'd like to continue, Aarti, now?
So he rushed towards Hiranya and hit him on the chin with his gada. However, Hiranya warded off the blow with his gada. It was indeed a very clever fight he was fighting. The gada of the Lord was crushed, and the Asura waited for a while, as though he honored the rules of fighting, which forbids an opponent to hit the other if he is weaponless. Varaha called for the chakra, and it came to his hand. Hiranya was still fighting only with the gada. He threw it at the Lord, who caught it with his left hand. When he tried to return it, Hiranya would not. Just imagine this whole thing, this fight that is, we just visualize this whole thing. So Varaha has thrown the chakra and it came to his hand. Hiranya was still fighting only with his gada. He threw it at the Lord, who caught it with his left hand. When he tried to return it, the Hiranya would not take it back. No ego. I will not take it back now. After fighting with several weapons, they finally began to wrestle with each other. Finally, with his strong and very beautiful fist, the Lord, in the form of Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha.
Here, I would like to read Swamiji, Tejomayanand. I was reading this. It was very nice. The same thing, okay? So Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha engaged in a fierce fight, throwing furious blows at each other. Okay, so all this is happening. So we saw, right, Lord Hiranyaksha had all the opportunity. Yeah, so the mace flew away from Lord's hands, where we saw that Hiranyaksha gives a blow and the mace from Bhagavan's hands flew away. Hiranyaksha stopped. We saw as if, weaponless, he is not. So he says, go on, pick up your weapon. I don't fight unfairly. If I have a weapon, I will not attack someone who is weaponless. Hiranyaksha is telling that to Bhagavan. That ego, still is there. He still thinks he is in a very advantageous position. The Lord praised Hiranyaksha for his noble principles in battle. It seems you know a lot about dharma of warfare. The Lord now brings that discuss chakra. Sudarshana, it appears. He sent, this is very beautiful, just listen. He sent it flying and it cut Hiranyaksha's mace into half. With his mace destroyed, Hiranyaksha hurled a trident at the Lord. It fell flat on the ground. So slowly, all the Hiranyaksha's armors were coming down. Okay. The Lord easily, so here it says, Lord with that Sudarshana chakra, easily annihilated Hiranyaksha's illusions. So all his armors are his illusions. Okay. With Sudarshana chakra. Sudarshana means a beautiful vision or a beautiful view. Once a person has the divine vision of the Lord, can any illusion have any influence or power over him? So Hiranyaksha has seen the Sudarshana, so all the illusions are dropping off. Yeah, so all the illusions are dropping off and he is just one with that vision of Sudarshana. So when he is like that, now as he comes charging in full speed in that wrestling, Hiranyaksha was close enough, Lord just slapped. Only with a Lord's slap, Hiranyaksha finally dies. Thus, one slap was all it took to bring about the death of Hiranyaksha. So,
and what is the death of Hiranyaksha? It is the death of the ego.
Ego. Yeah.
That whole journey, I think if we again to go inwards, what Bala was telling, every step that you're talking about there is initially, okay, that little dharma is still there when he said, you don't have a weapon in your hand, so I will not fight. Even in that, we can look at it either as ego or his dharma was still there, which is what the Lord also praises him for. So that last moment, that dharma still played. And when that dharma played there, the Lord and the one armor after another started falling in that fight. And as that armor, which is our vasana, now you look at any deep impression that we have. The deep impression, if that dharma, that principles are still there to some extent, whatever, the rules, mindful of the rules, then slowly, the vasanas or the hold of the vasanas keep reducing. And as it keeps depleting, then it is just one small slap. Now, when you're talking about this slap and how Hiranyaksha's ego was but completely sublimed. I'm remembering the story of Purandaradasa. Now, something as Purandaradasa, he was born as a merchant. Right, he was that and he there was one person who comes and asks him for money for his daughter's marriage, and he says go. He's like that proper this thing, just go. Do you have anything to pawn? If you don't have, then you go away. And then that man goes to the Purandaradasa's wife, and she is a very noble woman. And so she thinks a lot. She says, how will I give? No, I can't give. I should ask my husband, and how can I give? But then he says, this is your Stridhan, your nose ring. Give something from your Stridhan, because that is yours. So she gives the nose ring, and he goes and he keeps that with Purandaradasa. And then he finds out, I don't know if you all, and then Purandaradasa, he sees the nose ring, he identifies it. He thinks, oh, this is my wife's. Who gave it to you? He said, oh, a nice lady gave it to me. So he then says, okay, you wait here. He puts that nose ring in one dabba, keeps it inside the cupboard, and he goes and asks his wife. Goes and sees his wife, and she's wearing a different nose ring. And he says, where's that other diamond, that other one with the diamond studded one? I can't see it. She says, no, I've kept it. I've kept it inside. He says, go get it. That time she goes to Purandaradasa, falls at his feet. She goes to the puja room and says, I deserve to die because I have lied to my husband or whatever. And then she's going to drink poison. And at that time, clink, one sound comes, and she finds the nose ring there, and she comes and shows it to Purandaradasa. And when then he goes, his name was Nayaka. Initially, he had not become Purandaradasa yet. And then Nayaka goes and he says, how did this nose ring come? And he goes and checks the cupboard, and at that time inside that box, that nose ring is not there anymore. So and that moment he says, oh, that man who came, was he the God himself? He has come here to show me my how full of ego I have been. I've been acting out of greed and all that. That little final thing made him relinquish all his property. He gave everything up and walked out with his daughter, with his wife and child, and one tambura in his hand, and this tala, and he walked out. So it was just that ego was completely slashed. But this does not necessarily have to happen to everybody, right? There is that little dharma, that little consciousness, somewhere it was playing in his mind that, I did something wrong, whatever. That little vasana was there within him, which caused that, it was like that slap, and Hiranyaksha, ego was destroyed, no? Like that, this Purandaradasa, that little event, and he sees the Lord in that, and his ego was completely sublimed from that.
Yeah, beautiful. In case the Asura takes over in any conflict, we realize it immediately. What is it? And we realize it immediately and wish to undo, but we can't. What should we do at that time? Makes one feel sad or not putting the knowledge to practice. Being in the present, I think. See, once it is done, it is done. That's all. I'll just say, and then you all please share. Yeah, many times Asuras win.
Says that. Mother also very beautifully says that once you have done a mistake and you have realized that it was an Asuric tendency you have done, so it's not necessary. You learn from that. You try to understand. She very beautifully says, you first try to understand. Just don't take it face value. Try to understand what made you do that. What made you to go towards that side? Something must have been there, which some karma, some desire, deep-rooted desire must have been there, which you had made you go into that direction. So try to understand that, and no regrets, no guilt factor. Again, go to the divine. Each time you're going to the divine. That's what she was saying. Each time you're again, you are understanding, you're standing in the fulcrum there, you're understanding that why you went this side. It's like you're standing in the midway road and trying to understand, why did I even go that side? Okay, let me come back. Okay, then you must be wondering, okay, why did I even go there? Oh, I saw that signal, maybe I got distracted. Oh, I got this, maybe I really wanted to go that side. Something pulled me there. Something must be there. So try to understand and then immediately think of Bhagavan and then go this side. Again, a junction will come in your future where the same similar incidents will come. And that is the time you're going to use your learnings once more and saying that, hey, you know what? The same thing, this kind of distraction happened last time. So maybe what I could do is maybe I'd reject that distraction and move this side. So every step we are doing that, and we would find that such things keep repeating till we get our lessons. Otherwise, we would find that there are some things which irritates us a lot, or we sometimes move towards that asuric tendency, and we would find that each time that situation repeats. And you would find that the moment one day you realize the deep rooted reason and also completely surrender, you would find that very beautifully that such similar situation do not arise, because you have way moved beyond and some other situations start repeating. So this is how you will keep repeating. It's like when a child is learning to write sentences, an essay, a child will keep repeating one sentence, maybe one alphabet or one word. We keep telling the child, Bhagavan is like we keep telling the child, you know what, no, again the child will write the essay, again the same mistake, again you tell, no, not this, write this, again you say. Sometimes the child then will stop doing that mistake, do it properly. Then suddenly you will now your focus will be, the child will be doing another mistake, and that will repeat. So this our life would be having that. So it's important for us to keep learning, keep introspecting, and try to not cover it up with a curtain. It's not a treasure box thinking that I will cover it so it will never come out. I will cover my asuric tendencies. That will not happen. It's important for us to understand why I went to that tendency. And again, keep on remembering Bhagavan. It's always, every Purana, every story we see that going towards Bhagavan, leaning towards Bhagavan. You're tilting towards Bhagavan. That's it, in the side of the pendulum, right?
Bala,
I would like to read one thing. Yeah, tell me, Aarti. Yeah, please.
No, Bala, you were saying something. No, you want to say?
No, nothing. Similar to, I think, nicely put. Prabha has nicely finished it. It is just that guilt. Somewhere we saw, I don't, Raghuramji told it recently, no? Guilt, it is only a feeling, I think, or Aparna, somebody. It is for us to know that I have done a mistake, that's all. After that, the use of that is over. It is not something for us to carry it. Okay, the moment, okay, somewhere wrong decision. Okay, either sometimes I may know why I did it, sometimes I just maybe have to conclude some vasana in me has driven. So next time, please make me more conscious, next time. And don't worry, there's no hurry. Mother Nature will keep giving us the same situations again and again and again and again until I learn. Okay, so I don't have to worry about it also. So whenever I am ready to learn, when that time comes, because he is only the Kala. So when the time comes only, I will also learn. Surrender to that. If I am, okay, I'll not go overboard. So guilt is something, God's feet, yes, everything at his feet. That is the best thing. In fact, when we were talking about that, in the dark, asuric qualities are more. Yeah, we can also look at the other way. When the asuric qualities are more, okay, I'm so deluded. The truth becomes dark. Truth gets hidden in the dark. In fact, there is a Gita shloka, right? For ajnanis, whatever is dark, for a jnani, that is daylight. Which it means, when I am so deluded by this, I am the doer, all this moha, I am not able to see the truth. So when the asuric qualities are dominating, okay, the truth is darkened completely. Okay, I am not, but the moment I put that asuric quality or the shortfall or whatever into Lord's feet, many times I feel it is like he switches on the torch and shows, see, This is what it is. See, this is what it is. He switches the torch wherever needed, very beautifully. And then you realize, oh, okay. So that asuric qualities also blinds us, blinds our vision. So, put it at his feet. That Antaryaman within, comes.
So even if we just go through the Bhagavatam only, the stories of Parikshit and Diti. See now Parikshit, he put the snake around the Shamika's neck. Later when he came back, he realized, oh, I did something wrong. I shouldn't have done that. That guilt is a show of your dharma. It's a show that you are a person who follows dharma, but somewhere in between you failed. That little guilt, it's a sign. But then what did he say? Oh, I surrender. Whatever are the consequences. Now I have done that. So there will be some consequences. Whatever the consequences, I will accept that. Without, I will have to, right? I will accept it. It is okay. But if I keep feeling very guilty, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually feeding that asuric quality more and more. Because I'm remembering that more and more, instead of coming out of it, I say, okay. So when you say, okay, whatever, if there is a consequence, I will accept it. It's like offering it at the feet of the Lord and accepting whatever he gives as a prasad, right? Similarly, now Diti, she acted out of lust. But after that, she realized, she says, now will my children be affected by Mahadeva's curse and all that? She feels guilty. So that's her show of dharma at that point in time when she felt guilty. But afterwards, when her husband told, they will be killed, this will happen, whatever it is, she accepted it gracefully. In the sense, she had surrendered and said, okay, whatever happens, I surrender to you, oh Lord, in a way. So that itself, that surrender, saying, okay, this happened, but now, I surrender whatever are the consequences to you, is a beautiful way of, instead of being in that guilt and now growing one more asuric quality. I'm like that. The more I think, I did it, the more I will do. You will see that happens with us. The more I dwell on what I did wrong, that grows within. And the sooner I'm able to come out of it and offer it at his feet, dedicate it at his feet, and accept everything that comes along like a prasadha, the quicker it will sublime. Never does it happen, but that's the first step. We are becoming aware, which is a very good thing. That I was aware and that I feel guilty. So, and that I feeling guilty. Good, but stop there. Don't go overdo that guilt.
Yeah, actually, finally, Swamiji, when he finishes this chapter, very beautifully, I think it is similar to this. When the receiver of our dharma keeps reminding. Oh, something you've written. What?
When the receiver of our dharma keeps reminding, we keep accepting and surrender, right? Or keeps reminding of the wrong that you have done. Yeah, if you have done something wrong and they can, I am sorry. That's it. A simple sorry. I hope you find it in me, find it in you to forgive me.
Keep accepting and surrendering to whom? Surrendering to? I don't know. I didn't get that anyway. It's okay.
We keep accepting and surrender. And hope.
To Bhagavan?
To Bhagavan only. Not to the person.
Or to the asuric quality in you.
Not to the asuric quality, but to the person, to Bhagavan. And hope that the person, pray that person is able to forgive. So he is also released from it, and he or she or whoever, and I am also released from it.
Sometimes the guilt becomes a starter. It becomes itself an initial starter for a list of other things to be going
added on.
It keeps adding on. Then each, the guilt factor, the guilt, resentment, all those things adds on.
The more you try to, defend yourself, the more it happens.
Yeah.
They say in Tamil there is a word, kutta kutta Guniya guniya kuduvanga. The more you bend down, no, out of guilt or out of whatever, the more you get hit on the back. So you stand up straight, you face it. Yes, I made a mistake. Okay, and I am very sorry about it. But now I have surrendered. It has happened. It is over. Okay, I hope the person will find it in them to forgive me for that. God, please be with me. That's it. Surrender and move on. Every time that happens. That's it.
Actually, when we face, no.
Each time it will come. Right.
Yeah.
Many times.
Right. No, when we face and when we are truly apologetic about it, what the other person goes through doesn't matter at all. We are out of it. It's over. Okay. And very beautifully, we get this guilt or whatever because there is a very strong doership. Okay, I have done it. That's what Swamiji is highlighting here. I think to know that, okay, when I did it, I have not done with the Arpana Bhava. Okay, if I had done with Arpana Bhava, maybe, I may not have done the mistake. Okay, or whatever. Once it is done, take it as a prasad, like Parikshit. Okay, he did not have guilt. Yes, that was his, like how, like a symptom for him. Some, oh, I've done a mistake. That emotion was there. That's a symptom. That's all. Later, what did he do? He surrendered. Okay, I will take this as prasad. Whatever comes in also as a prasad. So I am surrendering to Bhagavan's will. Then the moment, so then there is no strong doership. That's what he says. If we examine, I'll just read this quickly, then we'll be done with this. If we examine our life closely, we will see that the Lord alone does all the work for us also. Okay, every work is done by him. We have seen this many times in the class also, right? Ultimate doer is that supreme power. Okay, if however we understand supreme power. Our ego inflates in vain when we assert, I did this. Okay, this guilt is also an expression of ego. That is a very strong doership. With the sense of ego and the sense of doership come many related anxieties. There are two aspects to our sense of doership. When something gets done, so when it happens as I want, we arrogantly think, I did it. When something does not get done, we keep worrying about it. So this is one such example, isn't it? When I don't know, maybe. So when it does not happen, there are so many things that come. It could be guilt, it could be no self-confidence, whatever. Because no self-confidence, all that is because there's a strong I am doing, doership there. So pride and worry, both are the signs of foolishness. Therefore, we should understand that the Lord does everything. And with this deep understanding, we should keep our faith in the Lord firm and unwavering.
Very beautiful. In yoga, yogic therapeutic yoga, to say, the moment the guilt factor comes, it also affects our Annamaya Kosha, that is the body level also. So there is a tendency that we might get into skin issues. So always it is very, anyone comes with skin issues, when we do counseling, we know skin issues and frozen shoulder or any kind of shoulder issues. Okay, so there is in the counseling itself, it moves on to a stage where we start talking, and automatically actually the participant comes up with that there is a long standing guilt which is really eating. It's like eating. So it's like the skin infections, right? Eczema, psoriasis, so many things, right? So something is there which we might have done in our childhood or somewhere during our age, which is still eating us. So, and or it has created such a huge burden on us. That is why shoulder push like that, right? That frozen shoulder, the shoulder ache. And the moment that the person actually talks and then feels that, yeah, I did that mistake, I'm ready to move on, I'm letting go, I'm ready to move on. I was holding on to that rope of guilt, really holding it so tight and beating myself up. When we start beating ourselves up, it starts affecting our Annamaya Kosha level. And the moment suddenly you release that grip, the moment then all the practices we do in the class, all the practices, the yogic therapy, it starts working. And nothing extraordinary, but simple practices would work. And why it has worked? Because at the Manomaya Kosha level, the guilt or that feeling has been released. The person has kind of released that grip and moved on. You're not just holding on to that. So that guilt sometimes eats us up. Is very important. Very beautifully we have examples in Bhagavatam. You saw Yudhishthira, how he was sitting, and then the guilt of doing that and that was actually eating him up, even though he was such a great Raja. Everyone in the Rajyam were so happy, but still that guilt that why I did that, why I did for my brothers, why should I should not have done. So many guilt factors were coming into him. And even remember, there was a dialogue where Bhagavan Krishna said, I am telling you, oh Yudhishthira, leave this, come. Even then it was killing, it was really pulling Yudhishthira down, and he was moving on into a complete depression stage. That is where Krishna said, come, go and talk to Vidura, so that Vidura could be a beautiful support system to lift him up, like that. So everywhere we would have a lot of Viduras, we would have a lot of people like that who would keep helping us to lift us from this guilt factor. Shall I end this with this reading? Yeah, it's a very one small paragraph which is continuation with the Asuric tendencies. The whole life is a battle, and for one who has taken to sadhana, to a path seeking the divine, the opposition from the anti-divine forces is all the more, anti-divine, the Asuric tendencies, is all the more, because the anti-divine force purpose is only to thwart the seeker, to push down the seeker so that he does not go towards the Godward endeavor. If the seeker admits or accepts gods into himself, he is receptive to the divine forces, then these forces will nourish him and increase him, and then will never admit the anti-divine forces into himself. The hostile forces, everything will be completely perished. In the battle of life, the sadhaka has to align himself with the divine forces of truth and light, and face a relentless battle with the anti-divine forces. Even a small shortcoming in the sadhana, a chink in the armor is enough to make the hostile forces hold sway. So basically it's important how is our armor. When we do our prayers itself, we say, no, we are divinely protected. Let us have the beautiful armor there itself. So a single hole in the armor itself, there is a chance. We see so many wonderful interesting movies and all, right? Harry Potter, all these things. One small there is a damage in that shield, and then the negative divine anti-divine forces comes into that. So again the divine forces will go and seal that shield. Again something will happen, again a hole comes, again the anti-divine. So it's a relentless battle there, but that is where we keep remembering, hearing glories, all the Manana, Shravana, all these things very important with the Satsanga. Then there is no cause for despair. Aarti, anything striking you for a song or anything?
I'll just sing one bhajan. Generally, let's just keep our minds on the Lord. I've sung this once before, but yeah, the meaning is beautiful. It's a very simple bhajan. If you want to repeat after me in your mute, that will also. किनारे लगाओ, किनारे लगाओ, किनारे लगाओ, किनारे लगाओ, नाव किनारे लगाओ प्रभु जी, नाव किनारे लगाओ प्रभु जी। नदिया गहरी नाव पुरानी, नदिया गहरी नाव पुरानी, नाव पुरानी, नाव पुरानी, डूबत नाव तराओ प्रभु जी, डूबत नाव प्रभाव प्रभु जी, किनारे लगाओ, किनारे लगाओ, नाव किनारे लगाओ प्रभु जी। काहे मेरा गिरिधर नाहर, काहे मेरा गिरिधर नाहर, चरण कमल बलिहार प्रभु जी, चरण कमल बलिहार प्रभु जी, किनारे लगाओ, किनारे लगाओ, नाव किनारे लगाओ प्रभु जी, नाव किनारे लगाओ प्रभु जी. He is the only one who can take us to the other side of the shore. Without his help, in these very deep waters that we are caught in this ego and this battle that we are going through in our life, without his support, we will not be able to get on to the other side. Kinare lagao, O Bhagwan. Get us to the other side. With this in mind, let's chant Om Namo Narayana for 16 times. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabad bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.